Hi, everybody. So I'm so excited doing a live stream here on Hallmark's podcast. I've only done a couple of these, but if you like it, let me know and we can do more. I've done a bunch more over at Rachel's Reviews, tried new things, tried different things. And this I thought would be fun because we got a big package here from Hallmark for the Christmas at Sea show that they are doing. And I thought it'd be fun to do like little unboxing, talk about the experience I had at the junket, what was going on with that, and also just to talk about kind of the year in romance as far as movies and television. Just be kind of a fun little live stream. And I have the chat room open. So if you want to put any comments, you can do the super chat. I would answer any of your topic appropriate questions. And join in and let's have some fun. So yeah, we got this box from Hallmark, and they said here, as we get ready to cruise into Christmas in July, we wanted to ship some Hallmark joy your way to help you cozy up and enjoy your screeners as you celebrate the holiday, your friends at Hallmark, which is really nice. And I just wanted, I guess, to clarify that I have rarely gotten anything like this from Hallmark. In fact, I've only ever gotten one other thing like this from Hallmark. I got they sent me some ice cream a couple of years ago, which was delicious, and that was a lot of fun. But it's not like something that happens all the time. Occasionally, I will get some swag items. Like over on my other channel, I got a How to Train Your Dragon box from Universal. And so that was fun. I opened that one on that channel, and stuff like this is like a fun little perk. It's enjoyable, but obviously it doesn't impact my review or my thoughts on a particular property, like at all. So that's probably why I don't get sent them very often, because it's not very effective, but it's fun. I enjoy it. And cool. And so you can let me know what you think. And are you excited about the Christmas at Sea little series? 4 parts. It starts at the beginning of July. And it's not their first reality TV, because they had that Holly Robinson Pete series that they did. Sorry, it's one of the first that they're doing. So let's see what's in this box, and then we'll talk more about it. Okay, so we have some cards from Hallmark. See what a card can do. See here. Jeez, they have it well packaged. Cards have a lasting emotional impact on the people in our lives. With a simple handwritten message in a card, you have the power to brighten someone's day. Giving a Hallmark card doesn't just make them feel good, it makes you feel good too. So go on and try for yourself and see what a card can do. I do love cards, and I love mail. Stationery. All right, so let's see these cards. You matter. You are unique, you are important, and you are cared about. You matter to this world and to me. So that's pretty cute. Okay. The future belongs to those who earn it. That feels like something like Trump would say. Winners, Positive vibes only. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I guess if you're just trying to encourage, but I don't think that we should have only positive vibes. We should have all vibes. Okay. So we have a wine bag. Feeling Hallmark Channel movie levels of merry. So I would probably put some apple cider or something like that in, maybe some soda. little bag, wine bag. Are you all excited for Christmas in July? I always look forward to it. It feels like Christmas was a million years ago, doesn't it? It does to me. Okay. So we've got some socks. Hallmark Channel is my love language. So that would be accurate to me. Love language. Okay. We have a fanny pack. This is nice fanny pack. This is Lululemon. It's a nice, like, expensive fanny pack. That's cool. Has the little crown on it for Hallmark. And then our last item is this blanket. And you know me, I love a fluffy blanket. Okay. This is my Hallmark Channel watching blanket. Oh, this is so cozy and soft. So, yeah, this is great. I love, I'll be getting a lot of uses out of this. That's for sure. So, what do you think of the box? Does that look fun to you? And I was so excited about this junket that I was invited to for Christmas at Sea, because we have only done a couple junkets like that for Hallmark. For the way home, and they've coordinated interviews for us, which grateful for. They've gotten us screeners before, but typically they tended to focus more on the like mainstream press when they were doing a press event. And so we never had been invited in 8 years of having the podcast, except for the way home. We'd never been invited, despite really trying hard. So I was so excited to get included in the press list. And what was especially cool about this particular junket is that the entire junket was all podcasters. And that's very exciting to me, that they are finally embracing new media in a way that I have wanted for so long. And it was also like a good moment, because some of the podcasters I haven't really interacted with that much, like Suspenders Unbuttoned, people like that, they're awesome podcasters. But we haven't interacted that much. But all being on this podcast, we started a group chat, started kind of talking. And I've done a little bit more with Eric. I've certainly done quite a bit with Dara over the years, but just not the kind of interaction I would like with all of the podcasters that they had on there. And so I think it's just going to be a positive development for the podcast and for just Hallmark and the Hallmark community. So that was really cool. Plus, like, it was fun to get to talk with, and I ended up just, each person got to ask 2 questions. And some of the other podcasters have already posted the event. I was going to wait until it gets a little closer to the actual premiere, which is on the 7th of July. So you can find it if you want to watch. I think Everything Hallmark, I think they've already posted it on theirs. So if you want to listen to it now, then you can certainly find it out there. But anyway, it was a cool event, and it was fun to talk. They had Aaron, Ben, Paul, and Taylor were all on there. And so it's fun to get to ask them questions. And I'm hoping that I'll get to have an interview with at least one of them, if not all 4, going forward. We're working on that. We're trying to get that. But there were 10 stars on the cruise, and they get differing time on this series. And I'll wait to kind of give my thoughts when it gets closer. Haley Strong and I are going to do a recap of the series, the 4 episodes, so you can look forward to that. So that's fun. And But first when I heard about it, I was like, this sounds so boring to me. The idea of following other people on a Hallmark cruise, that doesn't sound exciting. Like there's nothing like tantalizing or tempting or about Hallmark, and so like seeing other people vacation, that just doesn't sound interesting. But they do have a lot of different people they're profiling, which helps. And it does feel a little bit like an infomercial for Hallmark, but it was like fun enough to see the stars and some of these stories that they tell. And so it'd be interesting to see what people think about it. I'm not that well versed in that kind of reality TV. I did watch the Duggars for a long time, and I watched Sister Wives for a long time. And so but that's about all in that kind of reality TV that I'm really that familiar with. But yeah, I mean, this is like no Keeping Up with the Kardashians or anything, like nothing like that. But yeah, so it's an interesting project for Hallmark to try. And I'm bummed that there isn't any new movies for Christmas in July, because that's been a real highlight the last few years. Because if you think about it, we had the oh shoot, the the Going Back in Time, the alternative reality, It's a Wonderful Life. I can't think of the name all of a sudden. Um, that was so good. Uh, that that was so good. That was a Christmas in July movie. Um, Take Me Back for Christmas. That was such a good one, and that was Christmas in July. And then what is wrong with me today? The the Rachel Lee Cook one that was so good. That was also a Christmas in July movie. And so it's been a fun thing the last few years to have a movie for Christmas in July, but sadly not the case. They are putting holidays, rescuing Christmas. That's why is it called Rescuing Christmas? I guess because Christmas is wished away, and then that would make more sense to call it a Christmas Wish, but I guess that name's already taken. But that one was so good. So yeah, Rescuing Christmas and Take Me Back for Christmas, two of the best of recent years, and both of them were Christmas in July. So it's a bit of a shame. I also love the Campfire Christmas, the one about the summer camp with Chris. That was really good. So there's been some really good ones lately, but not this year. They are bringing back the holidays or they're airing it for the first time on Hallmark Channel, and I guess they removed it from Hallmark Plus, which seems kind of a lame thing. Like the whole point of Hallmark Plus is to get the early content, so don't remove it when you're going to release it on the channel. But I enjoyed Holidays, some plot lines more than others. But it was fun. It was exhausting to try to cover it along with everything else this last Christmas, but it was actually pretty good. So it'll be interesting to see what people think of that. But yeah, I'm sad no new Christmas in July movies, because I really do look forward to those quite a bit. But I am looking forward to seeing the old favorites for Christmas in July and talking about them. That's always a lot of fun. um, I'm trying to think of ideas for topics that we could talk about for Christmas in July on the podcast. I have a episode already recorded with my friend Molly about Christmas in Connecticut, and particularly the remake, directed by Arnold Schwarzenegger. So that's a fun episode. That's going to be airing in July for Christmas in July. Got that. But last year we did some really fun episodes like hidden Christmas movies. We did the IMDb top Christmas movie list. ranking, some other things like that. So if you have any ideas of, particularly if any Christmas ranking episodes that we haven't done, or like with Christmas in Connecticut, like a series that we could talk about, or a film that you want us to talk about, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your suggestions for what kind of Christmas in July content that you want. That would be cool, and that would be a lot of fun. So I'm always open for ideas for podcast topics, and make sure that even if you don't sign up for the Patreon, for the paid Patreon, which is a great benefit, you get to be part of watch-alongs and Q&As and Facebook group, and early episodes, bonus episodes. We just had a bonus episode just this week. We had one that the patrons got to listen to. So I try to make it really worth your while to join the Patreon. But even if you don't want to pay or be a paid member, still sign up for the Patreon, because even as a free member, you can be part of our polls. And a number of recent episodes, including underrated Hallmark movies, better than expected movies. We have done an episode on Friends to Lovers that I still have to post. So we have a lot of different poll winners that we've done episodes on. And so if you join the Patreon, be part of those polls, and it helps. Even as a free member, it helps us a lot, and we sure appreciate it. And so definitely please check that out. And that's kind of what's going on as far as the podcast. I mean, before you know it, we're going to start having to prepare for Christmas. It sounds insane, but actually I start preparing and getting ready for Christmas really the end of August, if not sooner. Start thinking about what guests I'm going to want to have, what co-hosts I'm going to want to have. Like, as soon as they make the announcement of the slate, then I already am starting to think about some of those things, which is maybe crazy, but it is true, because I pretty much have to have all of the previews done by the beginning of October, because they start or at least mid-October, because they start the movies mid-October. So you really kind of have to be getting going end of August, starting in September, because the previews are a lot of fun, but they're also a lot of work. They're a lot of work getting all the information about the different films that you can possibly get, and especially with Hallmark, where they don't tend to sometimes even have a poster a week before the movie. They don't have descriptions. It can be a little bit of a mystery trying to figure this out. But anyway, that is what's going on. I'm actually surprised a little bit that they didn't do the next season of the Mistletoe Murderers for Christmas in July, because I think they have it filmed, and it's going to be kind of weird that what are they going to do for the next season? Is it going to go by a whole year? And then what will have happened in that year? Because they still needed to be set at Christmas, but like there were cliffhangers and stuff. So I'm kind of confused about how they're going to make that work. But if you did it in Christmas in July, it wouldn't necessarily have to be all set at Christmas. So I don't know, that kind of would make sense to me. But anyway, that's what's going on. I'm really, really surprised they did a second season of the Chicken Sisters. That very surprising. I didn't really enjoy that show, and I just didn't feel like anybody really enjoyed it that much, and it seemed like it was probably a pretty expensive show. So I was very surprised that got a second season, but we'll definitely be covering it one way or another on the pod in August. So that's something to look forward to, I guess. But if you want coverage on holidays or Mistletoe Murders or anything like Hallmark, we have it covered already. But let's talk about some of the romances that we've seen in 2025 so far, as on Hallmark or on or TV and feature films. So the first romance that we got of the year was a movie called You're Cordially Invited. This is on Amazon. It stars Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon. I was hopeful because Nicholas Stoller, the director, has done some pretty fun things in the past, but this thing was terrible. I hated it. There was some physical comedy that worked, and some of the supporting players were funny, but these two, the fact that they expected us to buy a romance between these two when they've been horrible to each other the entire film made absolutely no sense. There was no chemistry. I mean, this definitely goes into the pantheon of terrible, terrible wedding movies. Like, people act like getting married is some like excuse to be a horrible person, like to treat people horribly. It's absurd. It's ridiculous and just not that funny. Like, you have to be really talented to make like selfish behavior. You have to be talented to make that funny. And they certainly didn't here, that's for sure, with You're Cordially Invited. Now, when it comes to Sundance, there were some romances. There was a documentary about John and Yoko Ono. John Lennon, Yoko Ono, and this I didn't think was very well done. It had so many like these interruptions. Like, it's one thing to do a couple in a documentary to give a sense of time and place. They have all of these advertisements because evidently John and Yoko like to watch television a lot, and so they have all of these segments of television from this time period. And so my guess is that they just didn't have that much concert clips, and so they needed to puff it out with all of these meaningless advertisements and other clips, and like weird clips that meant nothing. That why do we care? Like Yoko Ono talking to her manager about the most banal things. Like, it's not interesting. It's not to hear like a basic overview of the calendar. Nothing's happening. So I think it was pretty bad. Then there's a movie called Train Dreams. And this is a romance about a logger in the like 1930s that he goes from logging job to logging job to logging job. Also working on the train. He falls in love with this woman, has a child, but is it going to work with his lifestyle as this worker, this logger? It's a shame because this movie is beautiful, and it's only going to be on Netflix, which is a shame because I wish more people could have seen it on the big screen. It's really pretty. It is a little slow. But it has Joel Edgerton and Felicity Jones, and they do have a nice chemistry together. It's like a beautiful movie. It's sad. It's but I think it was overall I did like it. It was one of the better movies I saw at the festival. But I just wish that it was going to everybody. Okay, then we got Kiss of the Spiderwoman. This is the this was at Sundance, the take of the Broadway musical for Kiss of the Spiderwoman. I do like knew, even as a Broadway person, I knew nothing. I knew nothing beyond the fact that this musical is known for its dance. And Cheetah Rivera. Those are like the two things I knew about it, but I couldn't have told you a song or anything really about the story. And I never seen the original movie for Kiss of the Spider-Woman. So this was really going in pretty fresh. And it does have a queer love story, but it's more about a friendship story as well. Between these two men that are in prison together, and one loves movies and pretty old Hollywood movies. And so he tells about the Hollywood movies to his cellmate. And as he's telling them, they kind of come alive. And so we get these flights of fancy uh, with Jennifer Lopez playing the Spider-Woman, and those are beautiful. I thought it had real heart. I thought it was very entertaining. Some people will say it's a little too tonally all over the place and that the music feels out of place. I can completely understand that, but I really was quite taken with it. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, keep an eye out for that. So more romances. There's a movie called Sorry Baby. This was at Sundance, and it's more comedy with dramatic moments, but it does have some romance in it. But it's about this woman, and it's played by Ava Victor, who also directed and wrote it. She's the lead, and she's a professor, and she is dealing kind of like her own trauma, her own things. She meets her neighbor is Lucas Hedges, and they have like a real funny dynamic. This is an R rating, so it won't be for everybody, but I found it quite funny, sarcastic, well written. So I would recommend that one. There was also a movie called Bubble and Squeak, which is this sci-fi fantasy kind of thing where cabbages are banned, and this newlywed couple, they go and steal cabbages. It sounds more fun than it is. It definitely felt like Wes Anderson light, and so that is not one I would recommend. So it started out with Hallmark with our winter movies. We had Love of the Irish, Polar Opposites, My Argentine Heart, The Perfect Setting. I think that Love of the Irish is probably the best of those. Polar Opposites was, I think, good while they were on the ship and then got less good off the ship. But it was watchable. Love Hurts, that came out in February. This is supposed to be like an action romance kind of, but it was terrible. The action wasn't good. The Aaron DeBose was terrible in this movie. Terrible acting. Like, she's supposed to have chemistry with Ke Kwan. This one was bad. Although you can't see some Hallmark actors like Adam Hertig's in it. Then we had Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. I've talked about this quite a bit. We have a whole episode recapping it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was sweet and funny and romantic, and I'm still upset that it wasn't ever put in theaters because I just believe that it would have done well. Then we had Parthenope. This is an Italian film, and it's about this woman that I'm trying to remember. It's going back a ways, but she's like, it's kind of like the most beautiful woman in the world, and she's thinking back to her like early college days and these men who wanted her, and yeah, it didn't do a whole lot for me. Didn't do a whole lot. It is very pretty, but it didn't do much for me. Then we had the Valentines movies, the I guess Loveuary, An Unexpected Valentine, The Wish Swap, Return to Office, Sisterhood Incorporated, from Hallmark. Return to Office, I think, was the highlight, and then An Unexpected Valentine. But this was a pretty good month, I think, for Hallmark, was February. Then we had Picture This. This was a rom-com that went to Amazon. And this is one of those ones where she's dating like four these different men, trying to find the ideal match, and so she spends too much time with these other guys and not with the end game guy, so you can't really build up the chemistry. This is like watchable but not great. So you had Queen of the Ring. This is about the first WWE or the first woman wrestler, and a lot of time is spent on this relationship between her and her kind of marriage of convenience manager / husband. Not a lot of love between them, but sort of about their marriage. So there's that. Okay, then Meet Cute in Manhattan. We had this whole crew on the podcast. They're super sweet, super fun. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of these they had a lot of fun with recreating the scenes from classic musicals. like Roman Holiday and Singing in the Rain and stuff like that. Not classic musicals, classic rom-coms. And because they're playing this couple who pretend to be, they do an ad for a dating app, and people think that they're, even though they're just actors, people think that they're really a couple, and then they start playing into it and playing along. And so I thought it was a cute story, and as part of them being in these advertisements is when they recreate a lot of these scenes. This has a very, very small budget, so you can feel it in some of the aspects, but I enjoyed it. So then we had the Snow White remake, and the romance was actually stronger than I thought it was going to be. It was clearly done in reshoots, but they had True Love's Kiss. They had some of these things, these elements, and I did like that. I liked the new songs for the most part. They were entertaining, but the problem is that they have it feels all over the place. It feels like a movie that was patched together, trying to do all these different things. And so it doesn't work as a narrative. You can tell that they did a bunch of reshoots and retooled, and you can also tell that they were originally going for the fact they have the I forget what they call them. They've got the dwarfs, but then they've also got the rebels, I guess. And there just happen to be the similar numbers, similar personalities. It's obvious they added the CGI dwarfs last minute. They look terrible. So it does not work as a finished film. But of the live action remakes that we've had so far this year, it's probably my favorite, which is maybe damning with faint praise, right? But it was not a successful film, that's for sure. So then we had our March movies. We had the Royal We, which I loved. I love that dynamic of them being an arranged marriage, arranged relationship, and then falling for each other in the end. That was very charming. I loved the ending. The Reluctant Royal, Royalish, and Mystery Island, Winner Takes All, and Reality Bites. Hannah Swenson. So yeah, it's kind of crazy with this Mystery Island Play for Keeps. It was on the schedule in June, and then all of a sudden it's just gone, which is wild. Let's see here. We got a comment. Got a hi. Yes, please put in your comments in the chat room, and I would love to hear it. But only Hallmark, like days before a release, would just pull something that they had been marketing. It's so bizarre. We have La Dolce Villa and The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, which I had so much fun talking about both those with Me Too. I definitely, you should check out that episode. It was a really good episode. These were both solid, entertaining Netflix rom-coms. I enjoyed them both. And it was cool because The Most Beautiful Girl in the World was the first time I'd seen an Indonesian rom-com. So it's always fun when you get to experience different cultures from your own. We had Black Bag. This is by Steven Soderbergh, and it's supposed to be this like mystery. And at the lead is Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender, who play a married couple. And I just don't think that the script was there. This movie is all vibes. If you want those vibes, beautiful people, looking cool, slick, it's very well made. But I don't know, just the narrative didn't do a lot. I was pretty bored with it. So then we have My Love Will Make You Disappear. And this is a cute movie from the Philippines about this woman who every time she falls for somebody, the person disappears. Like it's just gone. And so she's terrified. She has this neighbor who is trying to close up her apartment complex and sell it. And so she's opposed to that. So they get in kind of spats with each other. But then when they start to fall for each other, she's obviously terrified because she doesn't want him to disappear. So I guess there's this whole concept of kieg. I'm sorry, I'm probably saying that wrong. In Philippine stories that this like kind of, it seemed like it's kind of a little bit manic pixie dream girl kind of a thing, like sweet, endearing love stories. And so I love getting introduced to new cultures. So that was fun. So then this is when we had the reality, this when we had the Hearts Around the Table movies from Hallmark. I like the concept of sort of these foster kids and becoming a found family and seeing each of their stories. I liked that in concept better than execution. Don't understand why they felt the need for all of them to say, I love you at the end of all of them. It felt really forced, especially in Sherry's one. It felt very forced. They were just arguing, and then to say, I love you made no sense. This is also where we got the Signed, Sealed, Delivered new movie. I liked it better than the previous one. And I think the letter was pretty good. The mystery around it was good. I'm fine with the whole pregnancy plotline because I've never really thought of Shane and Rita as being as old as the, like, I can have like I can assume that they're younger characters, and so it would make sense. But I can understand why that's not perfect, but I still overall enjoyed it for the quality of the letter, the dynamic arc of the characters, particularly with Oliver and his dad, and biological and adopted father, and those arcs. That was quite good. So I liked Signed, Sealed, Delivered. Then we have The Amateur. This is a rarity in Hallmark because it is an action movie on a smaller budget, like a medium-sized budget. But it's about this man. He's on the spectrum for sure. He loves his wife so much. Rachel Brosnahan is playing his wife, and something happens with her, and so he's going off to find her. But the whole thing is, the whole mystery of it all is all underwritten by this romance. So I enjoyed The Amateur. It's not perfect, but I did enjoy it. Then we have Drop. This is a thriller about this woman who goes on this blind date, and she ends up getting this drop in her phone threatening her, and kind of controlling her through out the course of the date. And I thought this movie was fun time. It's ridiculous when you start to think of it. The plan of this villain is absurd, but while you're watching it, I was sort of caught up in the moment enough. And it does star a Hallmark veteran. It stars Megan Fahey, who's been in some Hallmark stuff, so that's fun. I thought it was an entertaining little thriller. Then we had The Wedding Banquet. This is a remake of 1993 film, and I think that this it makes sense because this feels like a 90s movie, not a 2025 movie. I was hoping it would be like a cute rom-com. Instead, the characters are very unlikable. They're what they do to each other is really cruel. It's just not that pleasant, not that funny. It was disappointing. I didn't care for it. Then we had our May movies from Hallmark: Journey to You, Hats Off to Love. And those were both, I think, solid, if somewhat forgettable, from Hallmark. They were fine. Then we had Juliet and Romeo. This was a musical with like a new take on Romeo and Juliet. And it was terrible. I hated it. It felt so long. The songs were so bland. And the new take on Romeo and Juliet, it just simplifies to such a point where it sort of denies any of the like broader themes of the original play, that it's all just about luck. I think this would have worked much better as like a Disney Channel original movie at like an 80-minute mark. Then I might have been more fine with it. But it's 2 hours and I think in change, it's way too long. Yeah, 2 hours. It's too long. This one was bad. Then we had Friendship. This is like a bromance kind of story. I hated it. I thought it was so annoying. I thought the lead was so annoying. Like, it did not work for me at all. Then Love in the Clouds. This was a very bad Hallmark movie. Nothing about it worked. It was really bad. We had Nona's. This is on Netflix. This is a complete charmer. Vince Vaughn plays this man who gets this inheritance and his mom dies. He's really sad. How can he pay tribute to her? He decides to open this restaurant and have these Nonas making the food with their recipes and sort of the struggles, but that they have with this restaurant. It has a great cast. You've got Lorraine Bracco, Talia Shire, Susan Sarandon, and Brenda Vaccaro. So those are the Nonas, and they're so fun. And then Linda Cardellini plays Vince Vaughn's love interest, and they have a fun dynamic. It's just a really, really good little movie. I highly recommend. Then we had Things Like This. This is a rom-com. We had Margaret Berkowitz on the podcast talking about it. I think this is cute enough queer love story. I like the fact that the casting isn't what you would typically see in a rom-com. It's written and directed by Max Talisman, who's the lead, and so he casted himself. So, but it is not the typical casting, which I appreciate. I wish that the characters were more likable, that you were more invested in them, but still, I thought it was decent. Then we had Miss Austen. This was on PBS. It just doesn't make for enticing viewing, following Jane Austen's life, because she lived a pretty simple life. And there is romance here, and but there's also the relationship between the sisters. But it was not great. I wanted it to be better. Jane Austen wrecked my life. I was very excited for this. Ended up being disappointed. It's okay as a quirky female empowerment story, but as a romance, I think it totally fell flat. Wasn't fun. Not good. Or a very good commentary on Jane Austen, in my opinion. Karate Kid Legends, you do have a romance in that story, the little teen romance that's pretty cute. I liked it more than most. I'm a sucker for underdog sports movies. I thought it was pretty good. The How to Train Your Dragon remake, that has a romance, a kind of back and forth, the banter between Astrid and Hiccup. I guess if you want a live action remake of How to Train Your Dragon, this is fine, but it's just, why make it if you're just gonna do shot for shot? I don't understand the appeal. I don't get it. It's not for me. We have then we have Materialists. Everybody knows I've talked about this a lot. I didn't like this movie. I think it might have worked if the characters had been younger, because then their superficiality would have made more sense. But most people I know, by the time they're in their mid to late 30s, are more realists and not as superficial, and are just looking to find a relationship, not the perfect relationship. So pretty much every part of it fell flat for me. The banter I didn't think was particularly funny. I thought they used the sexual assault in a bizarre way that was just is this happening in 2025? What a cheap way to provide motivation for our matchmaker character. I was shocked that more people didn't have a problem with that, to be honest. Then we had the 2 Barcelona movies. We already recapped them. I haven't watched the latest Hallmark movie, the Villa one, but these 2 were both so good. Julie's script was so good, so entertaining, so sweet. I like the friendship between Allison and Ashley. Great. I loved both these movies. So then there's a little bit of romance in F1, but I wouldn't say certainly not a romance, but there's a little bit in there. And Bridehard, this was sort of a take on Die Hard, but at a wedding. Bridehard. And I love Rebel Wilson and I love Anna Kemp. I'm a huge Pitch Perfect fan, but this just didn't do it for me. It just wasn't funny. And so, or certainly funny enough. And I felt like these actors, they're trying really hard, but they can only do so much with this script. So that was bad. So there you go. That is all the romances that I've seen in 2025 so far. Let me know what you think of these. What do you think is the best of all of these? I mean, I guess I would say I think the best is probably Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy, or Sorry Baby. Those are probably the two best of the romances from 2025 that I've seen. So let me know what you think of the Barcelona movies. Those would be the top of the list for me. But let me know what you think of the romances so far in 2025. Where are you at them? Please put in the comment section or follow me on Twitter, and check out all of my of the content here on the Hallmarkies podcast. And we try to do at least 3 episodes a week, which is kind of amazing. And we have the recap of Sex and the City. I'm Sex and the City, and Just Like That coming up. I just recorded this morning with Jax, and it's a lot and hilarious. So, so definitely make sure to check that out. And please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. I'd really, really appreciate it. And like I said, we have the Patreon group, the merch store, and so check that out. And thanks again, everybody. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.